Well, it's now time for my 100 subs answer video. And the first question is by Ukakisa. Asks, why the name Wolfwing? Well, this name is rather interesting. I needed a name for a online role-playing game, a MUD, at the time, and I didn't really know what I would use. And I'd been watching Transformers Beast Wars, and Silverbolt had just been introduced. I thought, actually, this is a pretty cool character. And I thought that would actually be the Beast War I would be. So I chose Wolfwing as sort of a combination of eagle and wolf from the thing. I actually kind of liked it. Drethonius asks, what is currently under my bed? Well, other than probably the boogeyman, but I think he's hiding somewhere, it is 3 drawers that I have games, books, and various things that I'll read or play or whatever while I'm lying in bed before I go to bed or when I first wake up and not quite ready to get up. Finally, Graceful asks me, what is best in life? I'm not quite sure what he means, but I'd assume he means what do I find best in life. And I guess it would be learning new things, whether it's games or new knowledge that we've discovered, reading stuff. I love to learn and just discover every new possible thing I ever can. L 1981X asks, if you could fly a dragon or a unicorn, which would you choose? Well, for me, it would be dragon, because dragons are my second favorite mythical creatures next to the griffin, which for obvious reasons is probably a bit closer to the personality I have. But I really do like the dragons too. They're cool, they're majestic, they're just neat animals. Well, monsters, whatever. What would be a reasonable price? I don't know. Probably depend, but I guess it would be a large sum of gold or servitude to the dragon for a period of time, I suppose. On the journey, what would I rather have served, Coke or Pepsi? And the answer is pretty obvious. Pepsi for me, because I love Pepsi. Especially nice cold Pepsi. I don't know if we would get that cold on a dragon. Unless maybe it flew very high, in which case I'd probably have to deal with wind chill, so I'll probably be cold, so that wouldn't be too bad. He also asks, do I eat beans? And the answer is yes, though I'm not a huge fan of them. I'll eat them in chili and whatnot, but frankly I find beans to be a bit too, the texture just isn't quite to my liking. He also asks, if Satan wanted to tempt me to his side, what would be the best thing he could use to tempt me? And that would be probably shapeshifting. Whether permanently one time change into an animal for the rest of my life to spend life as an animal, or the ability to turn into any animal at will whenever I wanted to. Zombie Picture Show asks a question, if I was a survivor on a plane crash, everybody was incinerated except for an elderly gentleman and his 10-month-old grandson that had both died but were intact. Who would I eat first and why? I guess my response would be the elderly gentleman. And as a last resort, I would try to hold out as much as possible the grandson eventually. Though I would prefer to try to avoid that as much as possible and try to avoid the grandfather too, though if I didn't get rescued and there was no way to get to civilization, I might end up having to do something like that. So, but I would start with the elderly gentleman and try to hold out and last as long as possible without going that far. Wolf Syndrome asks, do I have any superstitious beliefs? And outside of the game stuff I've mentioned before, probably closest thing would be every full moon, like clockwork, I go out and just for a nice long walk in the woods and along roads and whatnot and just enjoy the night sky and the full moon. Also looking for any lycanthropes or anything out there. I doubt they exist, but I always have this sort of small hope that maybe they exist and I might get lucky and it doesn't kill me and I get to become one. Darnock asks, how much pot would a wolf smoke if a wolf could smoke pot? And that would be probably a lot if I ever was inclined. I'm not a huge inclined for pot. I've been around it. I don't like the smell too much, but I have gotten slight secondhand smoke haze for being in a room where a lot of people were smoking while we were watching movies, so had experiences with it a bit. That's about it. And I guess that's all the questions for this time. I will probably do another one when I hit around 200 or 250 subs. So, think of any worse or new ones you have for me to think of or answer down the road. I'll look forward to or dread them, depending on how interesting you guys have. Thanks to all my subs, to getting me to 100 subs, and I look forward to the next couple hundred or more if I'm lucky.